video explaining how you can tell whether you're looking at a recursive definition or an explicit definition. So one thing is to know what your formulas look like. The recursive says a sub n equals a common ratio times a sub n minus 1. So you should expect to see just one thing being multiplied by a sub n minus 1, and a key feature is that that n minus 1 is a subscript. It's a part of this variable. It's not an action item. It's not telling you to subtract 1 from anything. It's just a part of that variable. The explicit definition is a sub n equals a sub 1, so your first term, times r, your common ratio, raised to the n minus 1. Now that n minus 1 is still there, but it's up in the exponent. It's something you're actually going to use. You're actually going to do something with it. Also, you've got this extra, you've still got your common ratio, but then you've got that first term embedded in the formula. All right, so let's look at this first one. The first thing I notice is that I'm given the first term. If you're given the first term, that's a really good indicator that you're probably dealing with recursive, because we have to give you some sort of starting point for the recursive, because it requires you to build on each term. To get from one term to the next, you got to multiply by your common ratio. Also, though, my actual formula here is a sub n equals a number multiplied by a sub n minus 1. That's clearly my recursive, so I'm dealing with recursive on this one. Then the next thing we ask you to do is find a sub 4. So I already know that a sub 1 is negative 4. To get to a sub 2, I have to look over here and it says to multiply by 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2 and I get negative 8, and then multiply by 3 and I get, to get to my third term, I'm going to multiply by 2 again and I get negative 16. To get to my fourth term, I'm going to multiply by 2 one more time and I get negative 32. So my fourth term, a sub 4, is equal to negative 32. All right, this example here, I'm not given a first term this time, which means I might not have recursive. The other evidence I have is I've got a sub n and then I've got a number times another number, and then my exponent is n minus 1. The fact that there's an exponent at all means it's got to be recursive. It's got to be the explicit definition. But also, that is no longer a subscript. So this is definitely explicit. And that means to find the sixth term, I don't have to do the thing where I start with the first term and go to the second term and go to the third. I can go straight to the answer. I can go straight to 6 and say, to find a sub 6, I'm going to have 5 times negative 1 raised to the 6 minus 1. And I can either do that by hand or I can put it in the calculator. And it's going to be 5 times negative 1 raised to the 6 minus 1. Make sure it looks like that. Make sure the minus 1 is up in the exponent. You don't want to subtract 1 from the whole thing. You want that to be a part of the exponent. And when I hit enter, I get negative 5. So my sixth term in this sequence, woo, it's getting cold out here, y'all. My sixth term in the sequence is negative 5. All right, and I didn't put any U-tries in this one, so you guys can go ahead and start either your practice if we asked you to do that, or go straight to video 5. Either way, I'll see you in a minute. Bye.